Jake Paul being measured up by Joshua for that right hand. With Big Mo. Oh, man.
Christopher, you ready?
Are you going to keep boxing?
Yeah.
You really love this shit, huh?
Then he broke my brother's jaw. Fuck this guy. Broke his jaw, huh? He split his jaw. Yeah. He don't care though. Jake's having a...
Actually, because he was mostly running away from AJ rather than standing toe-to-toe with him to fight. It's the difference between fighting a Bengal tiger and running away from a Bengal tiger.
The moment Anthony Joshua's right hand connected, it didn't just break Jake Paul's jaw. It shattered a multi-million-dollar illusion that had been carefully constructed over years of viral stunts and choreographed drama. As we step into this new year, make sure you are staying ahead of the curve and seeing the truth behind the hype.
Yeah, it was largely because he was mostly running away from AJ rather than standing toe-to-toe with him to fight. It's the difference between fighting a Bengal tiger and running away from a Bengal...
Hit that subscribe button right now to start your year with the most raw, unfiltered insights into the stories that actually matter. This was the moment that everything Jake Paul thought he knew about the sweet science of boxing was evaporated by the cold, hard reality of a world-class heavyweight. From the ringside, Logan Paul couldn't just play the role of the supportive older brother. He was forced to witness a demolition that was as psychological as it was physical.
He's so big. He's so much bigger. So, of course, like, his punch that he knocks Tyron Woodley out cold with, Joshua just eats it.
Yeah.
Because he's a giant.
Yeah.
He's a
The rage that bubbled over in the aftermath wasn't just typical post-fight adrenaline. It was a family crisis exploding in front of a global audience of millions, leaving no corner of the arena for the Paul brand to hide. For months, the narrative had been built on a foundation of what if and maybe. The Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua matchup was sold as a high-stakes gamble that could potentially upend the entire hierarchy of combat sports. But when the opening bell rang, that gamble transformed into a catastrophic wake-up call.
I'm just so proud of him. My mom has it.
Your brother fought his ass off, man.
Yeah,
I mean, other heavyweights have taken that right hand and only took one.
I'm just so proud of him. That was incredible. In my view, that was a victory on all fronts.
This wasn't just a knockout. It was a precise moment where manufactured ego crashed into generational skill at terminal velocity. The fallout started long before the first punch was even thrown. In the weeks leading up to the event,
I'm just so proud of him. My mom has it.
Your brother fought his ass off, man.
Yeah,
I mean, other heavyweights have taken that right hand and only took one.
I'm just so proud of him. That was incredible. In my view, that was a victory on all fronts.
Logan Paul had moved beyond mere confidence into a territory of dangerous delusion. He didn't just support his brother. He acted as though the victory was an administrative formality already processed by the universe. Every social media post and every high-profile interview carried the same dismissive tone. Anthony Joshua was framed as a washed-up relic of a previous era, a fighter who was overrated and fundamentally beatable by a young, hungry influencer. Logan went as far as to claim that Joshua was losing round before the fight even started, throwing around the term legacy ender with a level of certainty that bordered on the prophetic. But Logan wasn't just betting on Jake's right hand. He was betting his own public credibility. The promotion stopped being about sportsmanship and morphed into a full-scale reputation war.
Sitting underneath, waiting to break.
I just pissed him off. Then he broke my brother's jaw. Fuck this guy.
Broke his jaw, huh?
He split his jaw. You know? He don't care though. Jake's having a fucking blast.
The circus reached a fever pitch, drowning out the persistent warnings from boxing purists who pointed out the massive, canyon-sized gap between fighting retired MMA legends and stepping into the path of a legitimate heavyweight giant. Once the lights dimmed and the fighting began, the truth became impossible to ignore. Anthony Joshua didn't look like a man under pressure. He looked like a predator who had seen this all before. He remained patient, composed, and clinical, waiting for the inevitable openings that Jake's rigid and nervous style would provide. By the middle rounds, the problem child wasn't looking for a knockout anymore. He was looking for a way out. He had transitioned into pure survival mode, a desperate scramble to stay upright against a man who Mike Tyson famously noted would change anyone's plan with a single punch to the mouth. The fifth round saw the first real signs of the end, as Joshua dropped Jake twice with punches that seemed to suck the very oxygen out of the building. By the sixth round, the The skill disparity was almost uncomfortable to watch. 1 minute and 31 seconds into that round, it was over. A clean, devastating knockout that left a haunting silence where the rowdy hype used to live. Jake had tried everything: running, freezing, falling to ground at the slightest contact, just to buy himself a few more seconds of relevance, but the heavyweight reality was too heavy to carry. The statistics that emerged after the fight were a grim testament to the mismatch. Jake Paul managed to land a mere 16 punches out of 56 attempts. In the world of professional boxing, those aren't just bad numbers. They are the marks of someone who was completely outclassed and didn't belong in the same zip code as his opponent. The physical toll was even more harrowing. Jake left the ring not just with a loss, but with a double broken jaw that required immediate, invasive surgical repair. This wasn't a close fight that got away. It was the exact scenario that every veteran boxing analyst had predicted from the start. And as the cameras panned away from the fallen fighter, they found Logan. The swagger was gone. The loud-mouthed confidence had evaporated, replaced by a mixture of anger, embarrassment, and raw panic. Commentators immediately noted that Logan's reaction wasn't just a concern of a worried sibling. It was a reaction of a man watching his entire business model take a terminal hit. He wasn't lashing out at Joshua. His fury seemed directed at the situation itself, and perhaps at Jake for failing to uphold the impossible standard they had marketed to the world. The tension behind the scenes in the following minutes was described as nothing short of nuclear. Reports indicated that Logan was pacing, shouting, and struggling to maintain any semblance of composure. This wasn't just about a loss on a record. It was about getting exposed on the grandest stage imaginable. Anthony Joshua hadn't just knocked Jake unconscious. He had revealed the absolute ceiling of the influencer boxing experiment. He showed that there's a definitive line where the hype machine stops and the hurt business begins. Logan seemed to understand the implications of this immediately, even as he tried to pivot later, claiming he was proud and that Jake had won rounds his mind. The footage of him ringside told a different story. It was the face of a man who knew the narrative control had slipped through his fingers. The world saw a brotherly dynamic that looked less like support and more like a manager frustrated with a failing investment. As the news of the knockout flooded social media, the backlash was instantaneous and unforgiving. The legacy ender comments were replayed alongside the footage of Jake being carried out on a stretcher. The carefully curated Paul brand was being torn apart by memes and analytical breakdowns that highlighted the absurdity of the matchup. Professional commentators finally felt emboldened to say what they had whispered for years. Influencer boxing hits a brick wall when it stops playing with retired athletes and starts challenging active world champions. Logan's breakdown became just as viral as the knockout itself. People debated whether his reaction was rooted in love or in the desperation of a man watching a billion-dollar empire crumble under the weight of a Joshua right hand. It was a moment of genuine, messy reality in a world that is usually defined by scripted drama and calculated personas. Days later, the damage control began in earnest. Logan's tone shifted from the aggressive trash talk of the pre-fight buildup to a more measured, diplomatic stance. He began calling the knockout an inevitable outcome and praised Jake's toughness for lasting 6 rounds with a giant like Joshua. He acknowledged the severity of the jaw injury and the sheer physical presence of a man he had previously called washed. But the shift fell hollow to many who had watched the live meltdown. The image of Logan pacing and cursing, looking more annoyed than empathetic, was burned into the collective memory of the boxing world.